Shalom and welcome to Torah and Coffee. Here's my coffee. And most of all, here's my Torah. The teaching and instructions of God. We just celebrated Passover, which started last Monday night at sunset. And we had a great time. And we also celebrated yesterday unleavened bread. Yesterday, which started Tuesday evening at sunset. So, hey, sit right back and let's get into Leviticus chapter 16. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe after the death of the two sons of Aaron, when they drew near before Yahweh and died. And Yahweh said to Moshe, "Speak to Aaron, your brother, not to come in at all times to the Kodesh, or holy place inside the veil, before the lid of atonement, which is on the ark, lest he die, because I appear in a cloud above the lid of atonement. With this Aaron should come into the Kadesh place with the blood of a young bull as a sin offering, and of a ram as a burnt offering. He should put on the Kodesh linen, long shirt with linen trousers on his flesh, and gird himself with the linen girdle, and be dressed with the linen turban. They are Kodesh garments, in other words, they're holy garments. And he shall bathe his body in water, and shall put them on." 5. And from the congregation of the children of Israel he take 2 male goats as a sin offering, and 1 ram as a burnt offering, and Aaron shall bring the bull as a sin offering, which is for himself, and make atonement for himself and for his house. And he shall take the 2 goats, and let them stand before Yahweh at the door of the tent of appointment. And Aaron shall cast lots for the 2 goats, and 1 lot for Yahweh, and the other lot for Asaph. And Aaron shall bring the goat on which the lot of Yahweh fell, and shall prepare it as a sin offering. Excuse me while I change glasses. Oh, where are they? Oh, well, I can't find them. Verse 10. But the goat on which the lot of Azazel fell, he caused to stand alive before Yahweh, to make atonement upon it, to set it in the wilderness of Azazel. And Aaron shall bring the bull of the sin offering, which is for himself, and make atonement for himself and for his house, and shall slaughter the bull as the sin offering which is for himself, and shall take a fire holder filled with burning coals of fire from the altar before Yahweh, with his hands filled with sweet incense beaten fine, and shall bring it inside the veil. And he shall put the incense on the fire before Yahweh, and the cloud of incense shall cover the lid of atonement, which is in the wilderness, which is on the witness lest he die. And he shall take some of the blood of the bull, and shall sprinkle it with his finger on the lid of atonement on the east side, also in front of the lid and of atonement. He sprinkled some of the blood with his finger 7 times. 15. And he shall slaughter the goat of the sin offering, which is for the people, and shall bring its blood inside the veil, and shall do with the blood as he did with the blood of the bull, and sprinkle it on the lid of atonement, and in front of the lid of atonement. And he shall make atonement for the Kodesh, or holy place, because of the uncleanness of the children of Israel, and because of their transgression and all their sins. And so he does for the tent of appointment, which is thrown with them in the midst of the uncleanness. And no man should be in the tent of appointment when he goes in to make atonement for in the Kodesh place until he comes out. And he shall make atonement for himself and for his household and for all the assembly of Israel. And he shall go out to the altar that is before Yahweh and make atonement for it. And he shall take some of the blood of the bull and some of the blood of the goat and sprinkle it on the horns of the altar all around. And he shall sprinkle some of the blood on it with the finger 7 times and cleanse it and kodesh it from the uncleanness of the children of Israel. And when he was finished atoning for the Kodesh place and the tent of appointment and the altar, he shall bring the live goat. (21) And Aaron shall lay both his hands on the head of the live goat, and shall confess over it all the wickedness of the children of Israel, and all the transgressions in all their sins, and shall put them on the head of the goat, and shall send it away into the wilderness by the hand of a fit man. And the goat shall bear on itself all the wickedness to a lamb cut off. Thus he shall send the goat away into the wilderness. Aaron shall then come into the tent of appointment, and shall take off the linen garments which he put on when he went into the Kodesh place, and shall leave them there. And he shall bathe his body in water in the Kodesh place, and shall put on his garments, and shall come out and prepare his burnt offering and the burnt offering of the people, and make atonement for himself and for the people. 25. And burn the fat of the sin offering on the altar. And he who sent away the goat to Azrael washes his garments, and shall bathe his body in water, and afterwards he comes into the camp. And the bull for the sin offering, and the goat for the sin offering, whose blood was brought into make atonement for the Kodesh place, is brought outside the camp, and they shall burn their skins, and their flesh, and their dung with fire. And he who burns them washes his garments, and shall bathe his body in water, and afterward he comes into the camp. And this shall be for you a law forever. In the 7th month, on the 10th day of the month, you afflict your beings, and do no work, the native or the stranger who sojourns among you. For in that day he makes atonement for you, to cleanse you, to be clean from all your sins before Yahweh. It is a Sabbath of rest for you, and you shall afflict your beings, a law forever. 32. And the Cohen, or the priest, who is anointed and ordained to serve as Cohen in his father's place, shall make atonement, and shall put on the linen garments, the Kodesh garments, and he shall make atonement for the Kodesh Mikdash, and make atonement for the tent of appointment, and for the altar, and make atonement for the Kohanim, and for all the people of the assembly. And this shall be for you a law forever, to make atonement for the children of Israel for all their sins once a year, and he did as Yahweh commanded Moshe. Just think. It must have taken some time, because it said that the priest, the high priest, confessed all the sins with his hand on the goat and turned them over onto the goat's head. He named all the sins that Israel committed. He didn't say just a prayer, forgive me for my sins. No, he had to name them one by one. That's very interesting, isn't it? 17. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to Aaron, to his sons, and to all the children of Israel, and say to them, This is the word which Yahweh has commanded, saying, Any man from the house of Israel who slaughters a bull or a lamb or a goat in the camp, or who slaughters it outside the camp, and does not bring it to the door of the tent of appointment to bring an offering to Yahweh before the Mishkan of Yahweh, blood guilt is reckoned to that man. He has shed blood, and that man shall be cut off from among the people. 5. In order that the children of Israel bring the slaughterings which they slaughter in the open field, and they shall bring them to Yahweh at the door of the tent of appointment to the Kohen, and slaughter them as peace offering to Yahweh. And the Kohen shall sprinkle the blood on the altar of Yahweh at the door of the tent of appointment, and shall burn the fat for a sweet fragrance to Yahweh. And let them no longer slaughter the slaughterings to demons, after whom they whored. This is the law forever for them throughout their generations. And say to them, Any man of the house of Israel, or of the stranger who sojourns among you, who offers a burnt offering or slaughtering, and does not bring it to the door of the tent of appointment to do it to Yahweh, that man shall be cut off from among his people. Wow. Even the stranger is included in that. 10. And the man of the house of Israel, or of the stranger who sojourn among you, who eats any blood, I shall turn my face against the being who eats blood, and shall cut him off from among his people. For the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the altar to make atonement for your life. For it is the blood that makes atonement for your life. Thereafter I said to the children of Israel, No being among you eats blood, nor does any stranger who sojourns among you eat blood. And any man from the children of Israel or from the strangers who sojourn among you, who hunts and catches any beast or bird which is eaten, shall pour out the blood on the cover, and cover it with dust. For it is the life of all flesh, its blood is for its life. And I said to the children of Israel, Do not eat the blood of any flesh, for the life of all flesh is in the blood. Anyone eating of it is cut off. And 15. And any being who eats a carcass or what was torn of a beast, he has a native, be he a native or a stranger, he shall wash his garments and bathe in water, and shall be unclean until evening. Then he shall be clean. And if he does not wash or bathe his body, then he shall bear his wickedness. Wow, that's just a lot. 18, verse 1. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, I am Yahweh, your Elohim, or I am Yahweh, your God. Do not do as they do in the land of Mitzrayim, where you dwelt, and do not do as they do in the land of Canaan, where I am bringing you, and do not walk in their laws. Mitzrayim means Egypt. Verse 4. Do my right rulings and guard my laws, to walk in them. I am Yahweh, your Elohim. 5. And you shall guard my laws and my right rulings, which a man does, and lives by them. I am Yahweh. No one is to approach any one of his own flesh to uncover his nakedness. I am Yahweh. The nakedness of the father or the nakedness of your mother you do not uncover. She is your mother, and you do not uncover her nakedness. The nakedness of your father's wife you do not uncover. It is your father's nakedness. The nakedness of your sister, the daughter of your father, or the daughter of your mother, whether born at home or elsewhere. Their nakedness you do not uncover. 10. The nakedness of your son's daughter, or the daughter's daughter. Their nakedness you do not uncover, for theirs is your own nakedness. The nakedness of your father's wife, daughter, brought forth by your father. She's your sister. You do not uncover her nakedness. The nakedness of your father's sister, you do not uncover. She is your father's flesh. The nakedness of your mother's sister, you do not uncover, for she is your mother's flesh. The nakedness of your father, brother, you do not uncover. You do not approach your wife, his wife. She is your aunt. 15. The nakedness of your daughter-in-law you do not uncover. She is your son's wife, and you do not cover her nakedness, and you do not uncover her nakedness. The nakedness of your brother's wife you do not uncover. It is your brother's nakedness. The nakedness of a woman and her daughter you do not uncover, nor do you take her son's daughter or her daughter's daughter to uncover her nakedness. They are her relatives. It is wickedness. And do not take a woman as a rival to her sister to uncover her nakedness while the other is alive. And do not approach a woman to uncover her nakedness in her monthly separation of uncleanness. 20. And do not have intercourse with the wife of your neighbor to defile yourself with her. And do not give any of your offspring to pass to Molech, and do not profane the name of our Elohim. I am Yahweh. And do not lie with a male as with a woman. It is an abomination. And do not have intercourse with any beast to defile yourself with it. And a woman does not stand before a beast to mate with it. It is a perversion. Let me set this real quick. Do not defile yourself with all these, for by all these the nations are defiled, which I am driving out before you. 25. Thus the land became defiled, therefore I punished it for its wickedness, and the land vomited out its inhabitants. But you shall guard your laws and my right rulings, and do not do any of these abominations, the native nor the stranger who sojourns among you, because the men of the land who were before you have done all these abominations, and thus the land became defiled. So let not the land vomit you out for defiling it, as it vomited out the nations that were before you. For whoever does any of these abominations, these things, who do them, these beings who do them, shall be cut off from among the people, and you shall guard your charge, so as not to do any of these abominations, but check those which were done before you, so as not to defile yourselves by them. I am Yahweh, your Elohim. Second Kings, chapter 4, verse 42 through 5:19. 2 Kings 4:42. Now a man came to Baal Shalisha and brought a man of Elohim bread of the first fruits, 20 loaves of barley bread and newly ripened grain in the knapsack. And he said, give it to the people to eat. And his servants said, what, do I put this before 100 men? And he said, give it to the people to eat. For thus says Yahweh, eat and have some left over. And he put it before them, and they ate and had some left over, according to the word of Yahweh. Chapter 5, verse 1. And Naaman, commander of the army of the sovereign of Aram, was a great man in the eyes of his master, and highly respected, because by him Yahweh had given deliverance to Aram. And though a brave man, was leprous, and the Arameans had gone out on raids and had brought back captive a young girl from the land of Israel, and she served the wife of Naaman. And she said to her mistress, if only my master were with the Nabi or prophet who is in Shamron, then he would recover him of his leprosy. And Naaman went in and reported to his master, saying, thus and thus spoke the girl who is from the land of Israel. And the sovereign of Aram said, go enter and let me send a letter to the sovereign of Israel. And he went and took with him 10 kikars of silver and 6,000 gold and 10 changes of garments. And he brought the letter to the sovereign of Israel, which said, and now, when this letter comes to you, see, I have sent Naaman, my servant, to you, so that you shall recover him of his leprosy. And it shall come to be, when the sovereign of Israel read the letter, that he tore his garments and said, am I Elohim to kill and keep alive, that this man sends a man to me to recover him of his leprosy? For consider now and see how he is seeking an occasion with me. And it came to be, when Elisha, the man of Elohim, heard that, the sovereign of Israel had torn his garments, and he sent to the sovereign, saying, Why have you torn your garments? Please let him come to me, so that he knows that there is a Nabi in Israel, or a prophet. Nabi means prophet. So Naaman came with his horses and chariots, and he stood at the entrance of the house of Elisha. And Elisha sent a messenger to him, saying, Go, and you shall wash 7 times in the Jordan, or Jordan, that your flesh might be restored to you, and be clean. But Naaman became wroth, and went away and said, See, I said to myself, he would certainly come out to me and stand and call on the name of Yahweh, his Elohim, and wave his hand over the place and recover the leprosy. Are not the Abana and the Pa then all the waters of Israel? Could I not wash in them and be clean? And he turned and went away in a rage. But his servants came near and spoke to him and said, My father, if the Nabi had spoken to you a great matter, would you not have done it? How much more then, when he says to you, Wash and be clean? Then he went down and dipped 7 times in the Jordan, according to the words of the man of Elohim, and his flesh was restored like the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. And he returned to the man of Elohim, and he and all his companions, and came and stood before him and said, See now, I know that there is no Elohim in all the earth except in Israel, and now, please take a gift from your servant. But he said, As Yahweh lives, before whom I stand, I do not accept it. And he pressed on him to accept it, but he refused. Then Nahum said, If not, please let your servant be given 2 mule loads of the earth. For no longer is your servant going to make a burnt offering and slaughtering to other mighty ones, but to Yahweh. Yahweh, grant forgiveness to your servant in this matter when my master goes into the house of Rimmon to worship there, and he leans on my hand, and I bow down in the house of Rimmon. When I bow down in the house of Rimmon, Yahweh, please grant forgiveness to your servant in this matter. Then he said to him, Go in peace. And he walked from him some distance. But Gehazi, the servant of Elisha, the man of Elohim, said, Look, my master has spared Nahum, this Aramean, while not receiving from his hands what he brought. But as Yahweh lives, I shall run after him and take whatever from him. Matthew chapter 8, verse 1. And when he came down from the mountain, large crowds followed him. And see, a leper came and bowed before him, saying, Adonai, if you desire, you are able to make me clean. And stretching out his hand, Yeshua touched him, saying, I desire it. Be cleansed. And immediately his leprosy was cleansed. And Yahweh said to him, see, mention it to no one, but go your way. Show yourselves to the Kohanim, and offer the gift of Moshe and offer the gift that Moshe commanded as a witness to them. Luke chapter 17, starting on verse 11. And it came to be, as he went through Jerusalem, that he passed through the midst of the Shimron and Galilee. And as he was entering into the certain village, he was met by 10 leprous men, who stood at the distance, and they lifted up their voices, saying, Yeshua, Adonai, have compassion on us. And having seen, he said to them, Go, show yourselves to the Kohanim, and it come to pass to be that they 14. And having seen, he said to them, Go, show yourselves to the Kohanim, and it came to be that as they were going, they were cleansed. 15. And one of them, when he saw that he was healed, returned, praising Elohim with a loud voice, and he fell upon his face at his feet, giving thanks to him. And he was a Shemonite. And Yahweh answering said, Were there not 10 cleansed? But where are they, the 9? Was no one found to return to give praise to Elohim except this foreigner? And he said to him, Rise, go your way. Your belief has made you well. Wow. This concludes the Torah and coffee for this week. I hope you have a blessed week. Yahweh, we thank you for your instructions and your guidance, that it is not just for the Jew, but also for a stranger. We ask that you shine your light into our hearts and our path, that you fill us with your truth and your righteousness, that we may walk proudly before you. We thank you. We ask that your shalom be upon us. In Yeshua's name, amen. Well, my friends, I wish you great shalom. Until next time, shalom.